what today is, party people. Oh, yeah, that's right. Who's got the applause? I do. Hold, please. It is Star Wars Day. Raise your hand if you're excited, please. Okay, so guys, so here's how we came up with the idea. I was on a show the other day with Jeff Sieh and Mike Allton, and we were nerding out, because that's what we do, about Star Wars, just in random conversation, and we realized it was Star Wars Day was this Sunday, and then we're like, let's have a show. So here we are, right, guys? That's how we get stuff done, is we nerd out together. So I'm going to introduce the panel. First, I'm going to start with the man behind the trailer, Jeff Sieh. What up?
Well, thank you, Mia. Thank you. I'm excited to be here. I've been watching I bought the new Blu-rays, the full series, and I've been watching with the comments and listened to George tell all his genius observations on it. So it's pretty cool. It's really
Is it good?
Yeah, it's fun to listen to. But I'm a nerd, so I like that kind of stuff. So anyway.
Okay, so as we go through, let's do it this way, guys. First of all, tell me what kind of swag you've got on, because I see something on you right now, on your T-shirt.
Well, yeah, I've got my Expressions of a Wookiee shirt. My kids got me this because of my beard. They think I look like a Wookiee, and so I got that, and so that's my swag I got on.
And tell us about your first Star Wars memory.
The first time I saw it, so Star Wars, the first one came out when, guys? It was
1977.
77. Okay, I don't know, but the first time I saw it. I saw it.
Ding, ding, ding.
I saw it in a drive-in movie theater in Topeka, Kansas, and I remember it was the coolest thing ever. Seeing it in a drive-in was just awesome.
So you saw Star Wars first.
The first one, yeah.
Okay, now we got to out ourselves for our age. How old were you? Because that always makes a difference on the experience.
I'm 42 now, so I'm 42. So it was.
Don't make me do math. Don't make me do math.
That was when I was little. How about that?
Okay. When I was little. Well, we got you to admit your age.
Yeah.
Right. Exactly. All right. And next, I'm going to go with Martin, because Martin is joining us, and I pinged him the other day. I said, "Would you please come on the show?" And it was, I think, like I got the response in 12 parsecs, because you got back to us. So tell us what kind of, if you have any swag with you.
I'm going to swag. I haven't got any swag with me in San Diego, but I do have Star Wars T-shirts at home.
Yeah, you're like, I was not told to pack my Star Wars T-shirt.
I didn't know. I could have planned it in May, but yeah, the first time I saw, you know what, this is the thing. I saw Star Wars when I was either 4 or 5, and I can't work out which, but I remember it was one of the first movies I ever saw, and I saw it in a place called Swansea, which is probably about 30 minutes away from where I grew up. And I remember the friend I saw it with, and because I was really little, I was about 4 or 5.
Yeah.
It was my first movie, and that was it then. You know, I don't go. I'm not. I even though I do Star Wars Tuesday and I geek out a lot, compared to Greg, probably Jeff, not as deep down the rabbit hole. I mean, I does not have a competition on this. But it definitely has been the movie my whole life that I've looked at. I mean, obviously the later ones. We'll come on to that. But well,
right.
It's been an influence. So.
It is, and I think that's the thing we determined. We did kind of have a nerd like Geiger counter in the green room just to see it, and we'll let you know who it was, and we kind of gave it away already because it kind of is Greg, and that's a great honor. But and then I followed up closely by Carolyn. But I will say for each of us, the reason why we talk about it, because it was life changing. I mean, it stuck with you, right? I'm telling you. All right, next time I'm going to talk about Mike Allton, because I want to see what swag he has and what your first memory of Star Wars.
Well, you know, I couldn't find a shirt, and I was looking for one so hard, but I have a lot of swag, and this is probably my favorite one.
Yeah.
This is my Darth Lord Pez dispenser.
And then tell the story about your Stormtrooper, because that's one of my that's how, first of all, how I got my crush on Mike Allton was I saw your banner photo and I was like, dude, that's awesome.
Oh, yeah.
With your Stormtrooper.
And Darth will stop eventually. I'll have to smack him around.
I love it.
So I have these, these Lego Stormtroopers that everyone's familiar with.
Yeah.
I love taking these guys with me and taking pictures with them when I travel. And unfortunately, I don't travel that much, but I take pictures with them, and I've used them as my cover photos. I think probably, Mia, that's what you saw.
I did, yeah. He was in the dashboard, and it looked like he was going on a trip.
Yeah. So he's been to Colorado.
Yeah.
I've got pictures of him in the Rocky Mountains. So
It's like Flat Stanley.
Yes, yes.
I
I think my niece had one of those school projects that she had to bring with her here to St. Louis a couple summers ago. I was like, I should do that for my stormtroopers.
Yeah, and I think it's brilliant. Hey, and wait a second, look what I got now. Yeah, because that's what Dustin Stout does. He makes cool stuff for us. Woo! I got to take a screenshot of this. And Mike, what was your first memory? How old were you when you saw Star Wars?
Well, that's the funny thing, because I was only 3 when the films came out, and my parents, they're not just not sci-fi fans, they are anti-sci-fi.
Oh.
Like, what are you wasting your time with that kind of stuff? You know, that's their attitude.
They're like Luke's Uncle Owen.
Oh yeah, that was my dad. So
Right.
I'm not even sure when I first saw the first film, because it definitely wasn't in the theaters. It would have had to have been on VHS in the early 80s.
Wow.
So my first Star Wars memory was probably the toys, because I did have a lot of toys growing up.
Mm-hmm. You know what, you guys, I remember too is here's a little flashback watching the movie E.T. and that's got a little Star Wars in it because remember he's playing. Look at everybody nodding. He's playing with all the Star Wars toys and kind of doing the thing. And my brother had them, and I think anybody who had them as a kid, Greg Boysaw included, is kicking himself for not keeping his Star Wars toys too. So, all right, who's next? Dustin. What kind of swag you got going on besides our awesome lower thirds? And what's your first memory?
Man, I got no swag with me because I left that all in Pennsylvania, where I was born and raised.
But I like it that
all
you
my
got
Star
it
Wars
somewhere.
swag is out there. It's somewhere. Well, hopefully my parents haven't sold it off in a garage sale just yet. But I had like the big old Walker toys, like the big old things. I had all kinds of action figures. I had lightsabers. I think I may be the only one in here. Speak up if you have too. But I've actually choreographed a fight sequence. I got to choreograph a fight sequence, a lightsaber battle, with someone who was actually a fight sequence coordinator. They didn't work on Star Wars at all, but they kind of specialized in swordplay, and they taught a class on the swordplay involved in the Star Wars movies.
Oh man!
So I got to take a class like that and do a final where we actually choreographed an entire lightsaber battle.
That might get you on the top of the nerd alert with that. That's pretty good, actually. You gotta find that one.
Well, I just had a lightsaber battle with my kids not very long ago, so.
And I had one where I took that girl out over at the Disney store last weekend. So then there's that, as we saw on that one too. What do you remember? Because I know you're a lot younger than this, honey. But when was the first time you saw it?
Oh gosh, I can't remember. What year did it come out? It was
77, 83, 77, 80, 83. That's my only years that I remember. So.
Okay. So I was born in 85. So the first time I saw it, I probably don't remember.
Right.
But I do know that I loved it the first time that I saw it because I was, ever since as far as I can remember, I have had Star Wars memorabilia and swag. See,
but isn't that cool, you guys? How it spans because it spans the ages. It's ageless for that. And now, are any of your kids into it, you guys? Like Mike Allton, I know you're trying to get your.
Mine aren't old enough.
Yeah.
Well, my kids were way into it. In fact, I bought it when Phantom Menace came out when they were little, and so I bought like all this stuff for them. For me, it was really. I said it was for them, but I bought it for me. That's the way I could get away with it. So yeah,
outing yourself.
And they loved it. And the thing is that kids don't understand is we had to wait.
Right?
Now they just pop in another DVD, but it was like, I remember having arguments with my friends going, no, he's not really Darth Vader's dad, he just told him that. And, we would
conjecture.
Yeah, and they don't have it, they just throw another DVD in. So.
I would say one of the most painful, I'm going to jump in real quick, one of the most memorable points of my life, but also painful, was seeing the very end of Empire Strikes Back. Now, I'm going to out myself because Empire came out in 80. I was 16 years old, and that started the huge Han Solo crush. Ask anybody I went to high school with. that I was a big Harrison Ford fan. And you know the I love you, I know. You guys know how I feel about that. And then they end it, and it's just Luke and Leia and that little screen, and then they just pan back, and that was it. And I was like, what the? I got to wait another 3 years to figure out what happens? That hurt. I'm just saying. But my first was seeing Star Wars. My brother went to see it first in '77. I was 12, and he came back and would not shut up about it. My parents were like your parents. Was it you, Jeff, that said that? They were like, shut up about the Star Wars already. And then I went to see it, and I don't think I've ever seen anything like that. And I have to say, I saw it again recently on my at home, and I was like, damn, that show. It's still so good. You guys have to agree, right? The effects.
Oh yeah, yeah.
Unparalleled.
Here's that scene you were talking about. Right there.
Yeah, thank you.
Yeah, there you go.
We just keep upping the nerd factor. It's pretty good. So, all right, guys. So I snuck in my age outing and my memory. Let's go to Carolyn. Let's talk about you, sweetie.
Well, I'm definitely the one on the panel who probably most exemplifies the spanning of the generations. I got you beat, Dustin. I was born in '89.
That's hard.
So.
Wow. Okay, so I'm not young.
So congratulations, you're not the youngest person on the panel.
I love it.
But I wear it with pride, and I'm wearing another Star Wars shirt with pride. This is from Star Wars in Concert, which I went to see when I lived in D.C. a few years ago.
There you go.
Oh yeah, Star Wars has been a part of my life from very early on. My parents are huge geeks. They are into both Star Trek and Star Wars. My mom went to see it when it first came out in theaters in 1977, and she was hooked from the opening titles and the opening chords. And I stood to reason, I guess, that when I got to a little older and got to about 4th grade, that's when I first saw it. And so my first and only experience with them in theaters is, sadly, the new ones that no one in their right mind takes any regard of.
Right, but I like it that you got to see those. And by the way, if I'd had a kid, it would be Carolyn. Apparently. My
yes, most likely. I think so, Mia.
Seriously. Welcome to my family. Meet your brother, Bob Voss. You know what I love, though? Yeah, that you've seen past that. And so clearly you're kind of an old school on that, right? You're loving
Very much so. Yeah, Return of the Jedi is actually my favorite. I think I got hooked on the Ewoks first, actually.
I wasn't going to say it, but I figured.
Yeah, it didn't take very long for the rest of it to follow. I think it makes sense with the Ewoks given my age when I saw them.
Right.
But it definitely didn't take long to get sucked into the lightsaber battles. I spent most of my childhood running around the backyard having lightsaber battles with anyone who would join me. It's definitely been a huge part all the way along, and last year, Greg and his fiance for Christmas very intelligently gave me passes to go see Star Wars: Where Science Meets Imagination at the Science Museum here, which was so cool.
Was it good?
Yes, it was fantastic. It was like Star Wars come to life. It was great.
Oh, I'm telling you, I was telling you guys in the green room. That's how I felt at the Star Tours ride in Disney. It was off the chain. I literally now know what it's like to make the jump to light speed. I'm just saying.
It's so cool. I love that ride. They couldn't get me off it the first time I went to Disney.
And Jeff was saying, Jeff, didn't you say that your kids, you ended up going to Disney and for some reason got there at the end and you and your kid got to go on like 5 times? I was ready to punch you just for saying that. That is awesome.
It was awesome because we got in there and they were getting ready to shut the park down and everyone else left and we just got to ride it like 5 times in a row, sit wherever we wanted, and yeah, and it changes every time, so it's most of the time, and so it was really fun. So
yeah, there's like 85 iterations or something that you can go. So there's a carrot for you. And let's get to Greg, and then we've got a ton of comments. I don't know if you guys see that. I just saw somebody posted a picture of a lightsaber on their wall. That's Regina Woodward. Way to go! I mean, we got some good stuff over there. But Greg, let's get ready for it. The most loved nerd of us all. Hi, darling.
All right. Hey, how is it going today?
Good. All right, let's hear it.
Well, when the first time I saw Star Wars, I was probably about 8 or 9, and it was actually Empire that I saw first, and that was awesome, especially seeing Luke face Vader.
Mm-hmm.
And even though he kind of got his ass whooped, it was still
and his hand cut off.
Right, it's still really awesome to see it, and I'm a big fan, which I'm sure most everybody is the lightsaber battles, and even though, like Carolyn said, I don't regard I don't hold episode 1 and 2 in any kind of regard whatsoever when it comes to Star Wars universe, but for episode 2, the end and the lightsaber battle in the Coliseum, and then the Clone War that starts, that is absolutely amazing. It's actually the best part in all of the prequels, I feel, anyways. Part 3 I didn't really enjoy very much, but yeah, I'm true to the 4, 5, and 6. I really think that they did an awesome job on those, and I'm kind of excited to see 7. I think it's next year, right? Pretty disappointed, though, honestly, that they brought back so much of the old cast, because it kind of feels like it might just become a reunion movie.
We'll see.
Really hoping that that's not the case.
Yeah, I know.
They didn't bring back Billy D. Williams, so how could it be a true?
Billy D. Gotta say that one.
No Lando.
No Lando.
Yeah, the Ladies' Man. I don't know if you guys saw the show we just did that Dustin and I are on. That we literally did. If they're Star Wars characters, what social media platform would they be on? That was you. That was all you're doing, Dustin. That was actually pretty awesome. Harrison Ford or Han Solo got Facebook and Snapchat. Which we thought was pretty funny too. But I will say this, and then we'll go to some comments. I love the fact that I think the way the first tier to know that you are a Star Wars nerd is knowing the difference between, the first Star Wars movie means Star Wars 4, right?
Yeah.
Remember when you cracked the code on that one? Because you remember when a kid showed up and it was on the thing, you're like, episode 4, what? We're all so confused.
You know what my favorite piece of Star Wars trivia is? It's actually that George Lucas basically just did it because he couldn't get anyone to buy Apocalypse Now. Yep. I think the quote was, I didn't know what to do, so I figured, why not? We'll make Star Wars. So he had this concept running around his head from the Buck Rogers film strips and The Man on the Moon and all kinds of other cultural influences, and he just boiled it all together in this amazing space fantasy.
But remember how cool it was because it had an old feel to it. I mean, everybody, it's this futuristic. Yeah, you think about Tatooine and all of that. Which remember the first time you saw the Double Suns, like how cool that was too, when Luke's all moody, pouting.
I know I'm gonna get some people upset saying this, but I love Firefly, but Star Wars is actually space western done right.
Oh, that's fighting words, but I like them. Anybody? I don't have my comment tracker up, but I saw a really good comment that somebody said, and if you guys have any, please pull them up. Somebody made the comment that they got the Star Wars movies and they're divorced. I think that's brilliant. I'll have to pull that. That's definitely a good one. How about you guys? You have any comments you want to pull up?
Let's see.
Nazim Beltram is giving us the cheer, so hi Nazim, good to see him.
Well, I'd like to know I think everybody was affected by Star Wars in some way or not, because I started wanting to do movies and video effects and all that stuff from when I was little because of Star Wars. And that affected my life, and I wonder if anybody else, even writers, I wonder, Mike, how did Star Wars affect you? Did it kind of help guide some stuff for you?
Well, that's funny because I actually mentioned that this morning. One of the things that impacted me the most from the Star Wars series was the music.
Good point.
I don't know if I was necessarily in love with film scores before Star Wars, but I certainly was starting with Star Wars. And in fact, one of my favorite scenes in all the movies is actually from Episode 1. It's the lightsaber scene, it's Qui-Gon Jinn, Darth Maul, and the music is awesome. Duel of the Fates, John Williams.
Duel of the Fates, yep.
Yeah. And you know what I love, though, you guys, I know we've mentioned this in different conversations, and I think it continues because, again, I blocked out the other ones, but I love that you always knew they had the beginning score very distinct when the credits are rolling, and then I'm that big of a nerd, I can recognize what movie it is by the difference in music because, you know how they change it, like Star Wars has got a different feel than Empire, about, like a minute and a half into it or something, so, yeah, John Williams, he just racked up all the Oscars. Let's talk about that. I felt like it still got, It really got shut out for a lot of awards, considering how groundbreaking it was. They probably would have gotten more now, I think, that people recognize, because that really was the advent of special effects, don't you think?
I thought it was real. I remember as a kid, and I remember, that's out there. That's the galaxy looks like. Why am I here? I'm a little green guy. You know, that's what it's like as a kid, because they create that reality for you. It's amazing. The music, everything. Come on.
It did, and it doesn't look dated now, don't you think? When you go back and see it, there's some movies you go back, you're like, oh, that's kind of sad.
Yeah. Well, I remember even sitting up and waiting, and I saw the Star Wars Christmas special when it was live.
Oh my goodness!
When you saw
the Wookiee Christmas special.
Yes, the Life Day when they come back. Oh yeah, I still because I mean it was Star Wars and it was on network television. I mean it was huge. I remember sitting there waiting, you know, counting down the days until that was on. And I don't remember it being stupid. I've since watched it since then, and it is pretty bad. But I still remember how excited I was.
Well, with that, Martin, talk about a difference in culture. Like, how was it? I mean, did it come out later? I mean, I know you're pretty young, but did it come out later? Did everything, and then you kind of had to hear about the buzz over here in the States because we were all geeking out?
I can't remember, but everything came out later. We were on such a lag. The point that Jeff was making is that now you just chuck it in, you wait for the next one. But if you look at episode 7, you start to get excited now. You know, talk about anticipation. I mean, and that's what they did. Is, you know, it's all part of it. And also, I remember. I don't know if I ever told this story. I remember I had a little Yoda. That was one of the first things. I was at a place called Saundersfoot. All of this is in South Wales. And it was a little Yoda character, and he had his little cape on. He had a little thing on. And I was so excited. And that was like a present, maybe a year after it came out. So you had these sustained things all the time that kept your attention with it. And you were part of that brand. And then we had Raiders of the Lost Ark come out then as the next big wave, really, in the early 80s. But it was, I mean, it was a big thing. But there were different times. You know, that's what we say in the UK when we're being nostalgic. Do you not get that? Okay, but we didn't have the availability of choice, really.
Right.
You got what you got at the cinema, you know?
Right, so we're whining about it, and then you guys really would give us something to cry about. Right? You're like, come live over here when you have to wait another 6 months before it comes out.
What age was I? I was like 16 before I saw it. No, it wasn't.
Right. You're like, but that's how long I had to wait, too.
Yeah.
Who else has got some comments, too?
I've got a great comment here from Nazim. Let me see if I can pull it up on... Yeah. So as much as we're living with a whole series of new shows and so on, will there be anything close to the impact that Star Wars and Star Trek have had as a cultural impact? Please no comparisons with Lord of the Rings and Harry Potter.
Oh, dear.
That's fighting words with me.
I was about to say, I used the term by the bike racks at 3 o'clock earlier today. I think that's going to apply here. I can just see some fists flying.
Personally, I honestly won't contest it that much. I think the Harry Potter thing is kind of a generational thing. I think Harry Potter's going to have a big influence on people my generation, a little bit older and a bit younger. Just because, you know, I was 11 when Harry Potter was 11 in the movies, and so it kind of aligned with my childhood almost perfectly. So for people in that age bracket, I think it has a big impact. But what do you guys think on the impact of Star Wars, Star Trek, and other
Gosh,
TV
you're 11.
shows?
I think I'm old.
Let's do it. I'm going to jump in real quick on Star Trek. I will say, being the age that I am, I was young enough too to remember this Star Trek show being on. Big crush on William Shatner too. I'm going to admit it. But that was, you know, so campy back then. But that affected. So I had a little bit of a prep work for it, but it was nothing. I mean, you know, we had like Tribbles, like, you know. Remember Tribbles?
Yes.
So, I mean, so there is definitely a precursor to it for me, but I mean, nothing like the eye candy of Star Trek or Star Wars when you got into the theater. So, what about you guys?
The funny thing is when my grandma knew I liked Star Wars, but she got me a T-shirt when I was little. We have pictures of it, but she didn't know the difference between Star Wars and Star Trek, and she got me a picture of that bald girl who was on the first Star Trek. Yeah, V'ger or whatever, and it was this big shot. I mean, it was one of those old, you know, 70s, you know, peel-on decal-like things,
Mm-hmm.
and that was my shirt I had to wear because Grandma bought it for me.
Oh, you probably like put a sweater on over it in the summertime just to be embarrassed by it.
I was styling, so.
Funny. Oh, here's the comment. Jessica said, it was me. I kept the VHS in my divorce.
I love it's VHS as well.
Yeah, exactly. And I know, I was thinking about this morning. I said something to Greg, and I woke up at 2 o'clock in the morning and said, Spike TV, because I couldn't remember. Spike TV was one of the only networks, you guys remember that would play, like Empire Strikes Back and things like that. I don't know if they had a corner on the market on it, but that was the only one I remember seeing playing that. How about you guys? Have you seen it on anything network? Or is network playing it a lot more?
I just see it on Spike, but...
Yeah.
Greg, I want to
ask... like I had Tourette's. Spike TV!
Greg, I want to ask Greg if he... does he have a preference of what version he watches? Because, you know, Lucas has released so many different special features, and, you know, one of the my favorite thing is when the Stormtrooper walks out and cracks his head. It's on the first edition. And he took it out of some of the other ones. And so, you know, there's so many different editions. I mean, do you prefer the, you know, original, or how far back do you go?
I prefer the original. I actually just saw, literally just before this hangout, just finished up watching Return of the Jedi, and I thought it was the original version until we get to the end, and there's Anakin. And you know, Hayden Christensen.
It hurts my eyeballs every time I see it.
And I'm like, wait, so they removed the original guy and they put Hayden Christensen in here? I was appalled. I immediately thought, like, wait, I can't like this.
Oh, did you not know? When the first time I saw it, I was like, oh, that's just trickery.
No, I had no idea that had even happened until today. I was appalled.
That's why I still have a VCR, is because I still have the original VHS.
That's a good point, Jeff. You're right. If you really want to see it, I have to say, even going back and watching Star Wars, I have to thank Nick Cardot for that, because he gave me access to his Plex TV. Ooh, and I really got nerdy. But I didn't even like it watching the Star Wars again when they came back in. Remember when they put in Han Solo chatting with Jabba? Yeah. I'm almost purist on that. How about you guys?
I think that was cool to see, and I'm glad I had the old stuff to watch too. So,
how about let's see. This is the best idea I've heard all day. Look at this. Sonny says we need a hurl for 7. Who's in for that one?
Definitely.
Do it. Why not?
Can you imagine? I know.
Let's pick a place and start to plan it now.
Actually, I think what we need is a rolling hurl. What do you guys think? Wait, like Martin, if you're still here, we can get California, or you know, we'll get East Coast, Colorado, and then we'll go West Coast. How's that?
Perfect.
You like it?
We'll coordinate somewhere in the center.
Restored Luke's.
Then we'll connect them all in a digital way.
I love it. What'd you say, Mike?
Did you see that they've restored Luke's home, the set in Tunisia? You can go to Africa and see where Luke grew up.
Oh, the one under the I can't even say. I can't even.
Home, you know, the dome and everything is out there in the desert. You can go there today, like a pilgrimage.
Yeah, it nearly got destroyed from the sandstorms and everything, but there's a group of people that got together and restored it, which is just so cool.
Yeah, I saw this on the special features of the Blu-ray, but they actually there's an archaeologist who's gone back and found stuff, and he's found like the door from the original Mos Eisley's cantina, and it's on the farmer's house. I mean, he's tracked all this stuff down. My brother-in-law actually he remembers getting out of school. He grew up in Yuma, Arizona, and he got to go see the Sarlacc pit when they had carved it out for Return of the Jedi. I thought that was kind of cool.
Oh, the one where they ended up. Was that how Boba Fett died? Not to.
Yeah. Well,
theoretically.
Yeah. In the book.
Spoiler alert. Yeah, spoiler alert.
Here's another great idea. I'm getting that thought. So you know how Rocky Horror Picture Show has, you know, everybody shows up, everybody knows the words, and they throw things. I'm almost feeling like we would need that for the first, at least the first 3, where we have viewings of it, and everybody just sits around and says all the lines. Because I don't know about you guys, I think I can recite most of the first of 4 and 5. So I would think sort of a Rocky Horror Picture Show for the first 3 Star Wars would be.
What'd you call it? A rolling hurl?
Rolling hurl.
That sounds like something I did in high school.
Yeah.
Where'd you grow up again? Texas?
Kansas. We didn't have much to do.
I was about to say, that sounds Midwestern.
Damn it.
Yeah.
Oh, look at who's the hotter? Oh, I got that one down, but I'm not gonna.
Han Solo, hands down. Luke was whiny.
He really, yeah,
Luke
nothing
was just
like.
whiny.
He really, really was. I mean, he was super, super cute in the first one, but he was quite whiny. That does answer the question for. Somebody wanted to know if I carried that to Han Solo in Raiders, and I'm gonna have to say, duh. Who loved the Raiders movies? Did you feel like that was kind of the next thing for you guys because it came out in between all the Raiders films? Yes, no.
What was the question? I'm sorry.
Raiders. Who loved? You're like I'm spacing out.
Indiana Jones.
Indiana.
The Raiders of the Lost Ark, the Indiana Jones movies. Didn't you feel like that was kind of a nice little pop in between, or no?
I mean that were classic times. I mean those were my childhood. That's what we dressed up as. That's what we, as soon as this came out, everybody for Halloween was Indiana Jones with the whip. I mean that was just the way it was.
Not to but it wasn't so it was Steven Spielberg that was directing them, but was it George Lucas that was writing them, or what was the correlation between those two film series, if any? Or just Han Solo, or just Harrison Ford?
I think it's just Harrison Ford.
I thought Lucas produced.
Yeah, I was gonna say I don't think Spielberg had much to do with Star Wars, honestly.
Mm-hmm. He was too busy making things like Jaws at the time, right?
Yeah.
Freaking people out with. Well, then he also did Close Encounters, so we can throw that correlation in there if anybody really wants to get a little dig deep.
Definitely.
Was anybody a big Close Encounters fan, you guys?
I just watched it last weekend.
Yeah, that's a big yes.
All those 80s films were, those were just Goonies. All those.
Did we have that conversation? We were talking about that. Like, remember when Poltergeist came out and Alien and The Thing? Remember The Thing, you guys? Man, that was stuff that was just freaked us out back then.
Yeah. Well, I want to know what people think about the new. J.J. Abrams is one of my favorite directors. A lot of people on the internet don't like him, but I do. Mm-hmm. So I want to know. What Dustin? What do you think? Do you think he'll do a good job with the new Star Wars?
Here's the problem that he really faces. He's a fantastic director. I'm a huge fan of his work, but there is so much standing on this franchise. Now it could be that the flack that the most recent ones have gotten are making it a little bit easier for him, but man, he's really got to pay some homage to the original Star Wars in order to get that original fan base behind him. Otherwise, he's going to get some major flack. So we'll see. We'll see if he can pull it off. Because he's a very modern director in the way that he kind of crafts the stories. He definitely has his own style. It's different than George Lucas. So I don't know. I'm curious. I'm curious to see what he does with it.
Hey, real quick.
But
Martin's got to bounce. Oh, sorry. Martin's got to bounce. Martin, and we're at our half an hour, way past it. So we'll probably keep going for a little bit. But you have any parting words for us?
I do. I'm going to part with Yoda impression.
Oh, thank you, Jesus.
The Fourth be with you, May. That's me. Done. Take care. Have fun.
And he drops the mic. Woo! And whoever, the Mark Seidel, when you do the video clips, please hook us up with that bad boy. I love it. You guys want to keep going? I know we're at 34. I want to keep going because I think that's great. That's a great point, Dustin, about that. Because what I found was the hardest thing for me on those last three was just the directing and the acting were so poor. I don't know what happened, but I just felt like that it just dropped. They really dropped it. So hopefully JJ can kind of get in that. But you're right, also bring in the spirit of what originally attracted everybody to it.
I'm very confident.
It's smart of them to bring in the old cast. I think that's one of the smartest things that they can do because it will attract the diehard Star Wars fans, the original people. Mm-hmm. But yeah, he's gonna have to do a lot more than just assembling the old cast to
It's
to
a
live
first
up.
vote of confidence, though, right? That, I mean, if they're coming back in, and they're all doing stuff, too. I mean, not necessarily Mark Hamill, but no, he does a lot. He's probably doing, like, a lot of behind the scenes. He does voice, right? You said?
Yeah, a lot of voice work. He's
Okay.
fantastic.
Yeah, who were you telling me that, Dustin? Yeah, talk about that real quick, kind of whatever. I mean, we know what Harrison Ford's doing, but...
Well, I don't remember a conversation about it, but I do know that he was he plays the voice of the Joker on the Batman animated series.
It might have been me and Carolyn. I know I've been nerding out with a bunch of you lately, so that's really good. So yeah, I've heard that. I've heard that too, Dustin. It will be good. But I think I think they're going to have to really work at it, because think about what happened with Ben Affleck and the whole Batman thing.
Yeah.
I mean, people were mad.
We do
But you
not
gotta think-
talk about Ben Affleck being Batman.
Like Dustin.
But I think
We're just going to pretend that didn't happen.
I know. I might have to edit that out.
the thing you got to remember too, though, is the lady who took over Lucasfilm when he sold it. It's Kathleen Kennedy, and she's a big producer from all those good '80s movies that we enjoy. I mean, so I think it's going to be awesome. I mean, I thought he did a good job with the Star Trek reboot, and so how cool is that he get to do both? I mean, that is awesome. I mean, that's
think
just
so
cool.
too.
And I gotta admit, I might be a bigger Star Trek fan than Star Wars.
Get out.
Where's the eject button? Just kidding.
And I loved what JJ did with the new Star Trek films. It didn't bother me at all. I thought he did a fantastic job. I mean, a few too many camera flashes in my face. But other than that, it was great.
Yeah, he went a little crazy on the lens flares, but he did a good job.
Okay, well here's how good he did on those. I hated Star Trek. As a kid, wanted nothing to do with it. Loved Star Wars. I was one of those. It was like Star Wars only. Forget Star Trek. But when the new Star Trek movies came out, I was like, I'm a fan. Love it. Yes.
And I'm in. Right. They did do well on that one too. What's you guys' favorite out of all of those in the last couple ones?
Well, I think the reason I got into Star Trek is because Star Wars wasn't there.
I know.
I mean, Star Trek was on every week, and then there was the shows and the series, and that's why I got into it, because it was the space opera genre. I mean, it was a science fiction genre I could watch, and there just wasn't any Star Wars. I mean, there was books, and that was about it. There wasn't the Clone Wars or any of that stuff. So I think that's why I got to Star Trek.
Don't you guys? You know what? Good point, Jeff. Because it was very omnipresent. I mean, you had the series that came. Because when did they started the movies like Wrath of Khan and all that? So they've always been present in every decade since the beginning.
65. Star Trek started 65, I think.
Mm-hmm. It's a good year.
Speaking of series, has anyone watched the new Clone Wars series yet? I know it just came to Netflix, so I haven't had a chance yet, but I've been dying to. I heard it's really good.
Mm-mm.
And I just started to because it came to Netflix. So I'm on like the 4th episode, I think.
It's like pizza delivery in Mike's house. Oh, Netflix. Woo, thanks.
And I'm watching it with my 2-year-old. I'm bringing her up right.
Good for you.
We walked into that comics book store last night, and this was, a proud papa moment. She's looking around. She said, "Darth Vader, Spider-Man." I mean, she's naming everything. She knows them all. Marvel, DC Comics. Hey, I don't
Well
judge.
done.
Well done. And you just got to see a grown man cry last night.
My baby.
Oh, so proud. Oh, that's awesome. Any other comments you guys want to bring up real quick?
Oh, let's see. Does anyone know what Carrie Fisher's been up to? Nazim was asking.
She's been in a couple of shows, but other than that, I haven't heard much from her, except that she's crazy.
Oh, a good crazy though. I like her. Who is this? I'm still trying to recover from the earwig. Oh, yeah, no kidding.
Yeah, that was rough.
Like this, right? Like, ugh. I love Tim's comment. I bought the Star Wars Old Republic collector's version when the game released me, but he said the Force wasn't that frickin' strong. That's
Give me a break. Okay, favorite Star Wars character of all time. Who's
Jar Jar Binks.
Get out.
Bring it up on YouTube. Oh, just remember how offended people were, and I remember just watching, going, "Oh my, what is that thing?"
Oh, no one knows to this day, I don't think.
To be honest, I really don't get the big deal with why everybody hates Jar Jar. Like, I'm like, yeah, he's stupid and ridiculous, but Like, I'm not mad at him.
He was a very polarized character, for sure. I ain't mad. I don't hate you. I ain't mad at you, Jar Jar. Is that what you say?
I just found him annoying. More than anything else. I didn't hate him. I just thought it was unnecessary.
Never bothered me too much.
He was about as annoying as Hayden Christensen was. I don't know. He kind of ruined one for me completely, and I love Qui-Gon Jinn. I absolutely love him, and having Jar Jar tag along for even the majority of the movie, it was just ridiculous. He is always saying really stupid things and doing really even more stupid things than he was saying. He's just, I don't know, complete fail. It was almost like having one of the Three Stooges on set.
I think they put him in there for the kids. That's what I was thinking, because it's almost like the Ewoks. Because I thought they were trying to do the Ewoks and make a cute, brandable plush
lunch
toy.
boxes.
Yeah.
It was the lunchbox thing.
And it didn't work. I mean, I'm like Dustin. I don't hate him. I mean, and you notice in the second prequel, he didn't say much, but except put everybody on the path to war. But
Yeah, Greg and I were watching it the other day, and we said that when we saw that scene. It's like, wait, okay, so Jar Jar Binks not only was a terrible character in Episode 1, but he completely started the Clone Wars. Yes. His fault.
Yes. The destruction of the Jedi, it's all on Jar Jar.
Exactly. All right, good point. Let's have everybody say their favorite character, their favorite movie. But before I do that, now you've got a big fan, Mike. Lynn says she's with you. She's loving the Trekkies Forever. She's with you on your love. So Trekkies Forever in my family. Amen. So I'm with you on that one too. I have to admit, you're right. I did like those. I did like the last series of Star Treks better for that. What's the comment you got there? Oh. I love this. Lego Star Wars was the best because you could kill Jar Jar over and over and over. I spent the majority of my first game just killing him and actually hitting him with my lightsaber repeatedly over and over. I like that she's getting as emphatic as we are too. So, all right, guys, let's go with each of you. What's your favorite Star Wars character and movie? Go, Carolyn. It's all you.
Okay. Well, favorite movie is Return of the Jedi. I love the whole story, the way it concludes the narrative, and I know that bits of it, like the Ewoks, were cheesy, but you know what, I'm okay with that.
I'm gonna rewatch it again because you said that.
Yeah, I really enjoy it. Favorite character would have to be Yoda, followed very closely by R2-D2.
Loving it. Did you see my Instagram that I nerded out with those two? I'll have to post it for you.
Yes, it was great.
And I wasn't kidding. Some people just kind of say those. I meant it for sure.
Yep.
Hey, Dustin, how about you? What's your favorite character and your favorite of the films so far?
Favorite character is definitely Yoda. Love me some Yoda, and I'd have to go with Carolyn on Return of the Jedi. Best one.
All right, now I gotta definitely see it because I poo-pooed it a little bit because those stupid Ewoks. So we'll go back with you, Brother Greg.
Bob Voss and watch the Ewoks.
Exactly. I will. Yeah, Bob Voss approves. That's the comment that's gonna happen. Hey, Greg, the greatest of us all. Who is your favorite character, and what's your favorite film?
So R2-D2 is my favorite. Just the amount of sass that he has. You know that he's not talking appropriately. He has to always be cussing up a storm. Baylor.
Yeah,
he has so much sarcasm.
He does, you guys, and you know what? Good point, Greg. Because I realized that in watching it again, I'm like, I feel like I know what that guy's saying.
Yeah.
I love you for that. And then favorite of the movies?
I have to agree with both Dustin and Carolyn. It's Return of the Jedi. Quick fact about Return of the Jedi. Before it actually came out, it was going to be called Revenge of the Jedi, and there's actually posters to that effect that have Luke holding the red lightsaber instead of a blue lightsaber. And I think most of those have been destroyed, and the only one that I've actually physically seen is at a local theater here at Universal Studios. And they have a poster there, and I think there's only about 7,000 left in the world.
Yep.
Oh, that's good stuff, yeah, because they try to get rid of them. I'm thinking, by the way, that a Star Trek show is next. I'm just saying. According to the comments. Yep, I got thumbs up. Brother Jeff C., creative of our fabulous trailer, who's your favorite character and what's your favorite one of the movies?
He's the best bad guy ever is Darth Vader.
There you go.
Because his cool mask, I mean, when I was a kid, everybody wanted, even though he was the bad guy, everybody wanted to play him when you were pick up your lightsaber. And so, but my favorite movie probably, I like Jedi, but is Empire Strikes Back, just because it's just such a cool movie with the speeder chase and the walkers, and and I say that to my wife when she says that she loves me, and I say I know. It doesn't go over the same way, but she gets it. So
she gets it. She still loves you for it. Oh, fabulous. And then Mike, brother, favorite character, favorite movie?
Well, I'm totally with Jeff on this one. My favorite movie has got to be Empire. Which, that in itself, what we've discussed here as a panel, isn't that such a testament to this series? So far, not a single one of us has said Star Wars, the original, is our favorite film. Mm-hmm. What other franchises, series, and films could you have said that where the first one isn't your favorite one, and the additional ones are just so much better?
Right.
My favorite character, Lando.
Oh, nicely done.
Lando's the bomb.
How much do you love that little clip where he's like, "This deal keeps getting worse all the time." Anything I do, like if it's some kind of something going wrong, I'm like, "Oh, this deal keeps getting worse all the time."
My favorite line, I say it out loud all the time, is, "They told me they fixed it."
She's all mad when it doesn't make the jump to light speed.
They told me they fixed it.
It's not my fault. And, to make it now even, I'm going to have to say Empire, also my favorite. Too bad Martin's not here to be the tiebreaker. And my favorite is definitely Han Solo. The crush continues. I'm just saying, he was a scruffy-looking nerf herder. I love him.
He is epic, for sure.
You can't say nerf herder. That's our word.
Right. You have with it. And I love how he only gets offended at the scruffy looking as well.
Scruffy looking, yeah.
Oh, I love it. Hey, let's give a big shout out to everybody in the audience. So Lynn Abate, Regina Woodward, Joe Ray, Delilah's in the house, Sunny, Kim Boltman, Dale Taylor, Nazim. Anybody else you guys want to shout out? Jessica Maynard, Tim Longwell? Anybody?
Let's see.
Because we can all give them.
I saw Joe Ray stop by, Wayne Nix.
Yep, hey Wayne.
Kristen Drysdale.
I know Ben Fisher was in the audience at one point.
Yep, Brother Ben was in there too. Wayne needs to post a video because apparently he's going to blow up that gourd today just like the Death Star.
Nice.
I'm kind of looking. Hector Morales, all of that. So, guys, we're out of here. Let's all give a big Star Wars fist bump. And may the 4th be with you always. Bye, guys.